123 years ago, an archaeologist called Paul du Châtellier discovered a large inscribed stone slab in the prehistoric burial ground in Finistère, up in the northwest tip of France. Du Châtellier stored the slab at his home, but then it seems to have become lost until 2014, when it was rediscovered. Then, in 2021, researchers declared it was a Bronze Age map. All well and good, but why are we talking about it now? Yes, why are we talking about it again now?
Why are we talking about it now? Well, we're talking about it now because Professor Ivan Payet and his team, they have done a sterling job of actually applying this to the landscape, and they've actually clocked it with a remarkable degree of accuracy. Why are we talking about it now? Because he's very, very rashly decided to call it a treasure map. Yeah.
Ouch, what could possibly go wrong? Listen, before we discuss all that, I'm sure there's lots to mull over there. A little bit of housekeeping. Folks, you don't need me to tell you. Like and subscribe if you possibly can. It all helps. What helps even more is if you subscribe to us on Patreon. It really helps the boat go faster. Talking about boats, we're off on our travels.
Yes, we are.
Which is a very bad segue into flying, I suppose, and travelling. Yeah, because we're going to Turkey in a few weeks' time to start filming for GÖBEKLI TEPE to Stonehenge, which the first leg of which is fully funded, but nevertheless the funding is an ongoing thing for the rest of the series that we're going to complete next year and probably into the following year as well. So if you want to contribute to that adventure, please do have a look at our Buy Me a Coffee campaign site. Link is also in the description below. We thank you so much. I think that's all I need to say on the subject. Is that right?
Well said. Yes.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, what are these two researchers? What are they up to? What are they even thinking?
Do you know what? There's so many aspects of this that are completely wonderful. I mean, not least of all, it has always been there as a theory that so much rock art is maps. And there are so many that we can think of, of Achnabrech and Cairnbarn in Scotland, and even places potentially like Longmeg and Daughters, where the tall monolith has got carvings on it, which could apply to circles that are still in the landscape or used to be in the landscape. What's so remarkable with this, and why we think Ivan is being a little bit rash, is that because it's Bronze Age, they're applying it. It was a Bronze Age burial, was it not? And the thing is that it's in the Bronze Age that you start getting bling in burials. Prior to the Bronze Age, it was, you'd have stone artifacts or arrowheads or whatever, maybe beads. In the Bronze Age, you've got things of value, and to apply this, or to establish a map in the landscape, and then say, so we could have a burial site here and here and here and here. You're just inviting the detectorists, the irresponsible ones, to go out and try to do the treasure hunting before the archaeologists get out there themselves. I think it's a bit rash.
Yes, I think that's the basic reason. I think that's the basic reason why we've picked it up. I think we need to just backtrack a little bit because we failed to mention the name of this slab.
That's true. The saint-bélec stone, the slab. In fact, they call it a saint-bélec slab.
What is it? About 5 feet long, about 3 feet wide, or is it bigger than that?
No, I think you're in the ballpark. It's not huge, but it's big.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of other stones that we know, not least of all the Koshno stone in Scotland.
And all the sites that you mentioned earlier, they come under the umbrella of Atlantic rock art, which is usually recognised by the cup and ring markings, we call them, the circular ones with the dimple in the middle. But there are other designs as well, which is why it's something we've said for a long, long time, coming across them as we have done in the wild. From time to time. So, that looks like a map. But it has to be said, of course, that we're talking about Neolithic or even earlier things in the landscape. And here we are talking about a Bronze Age piece from northwest Brittany. So, slightly different league, but it doesn't diminish the argument about marks on rocks being slabs at all. Yeah. So there's a little bit of history to this as well, which is fascinating, which we probably didn't go over when we mentioned it before. I think we actually talked about it in 2021, the first time. They said, oh, look, this is a map. And the original discoverer, having du Châtellier, having squirreled it away in his house somewhere, and then it being lost, or some story about it having been given to the museum and then it coming back, and why it should not have been found again until 2014. We shall never know. But it was these two same researchers in 2021 that actually declared that it was a map. And as we've just I've gone all round the circle there, come to this point where it is being declared as a treasure map. And as you quite rightly said, we think that's a bit jumping the shark.
Jumping the shark, I quite like that.
Is that a correct term?
Yeah, okay. We'll jump the shark. Yeah, it's an extraordinary thing to... I mean, I could understand him saying it within his research team, if you like, what have you, but to actually say it to journalists who then print it in newspapers or social media, there are enough problems with people who don't respect the context of archaeology. It does seem rash to me.
I think we're not trying to diminish the basis for them calling it a treasure map, because the basis for them calling it a treasure map is that if it is an accurate map of the area portrayed, I think it's about the area portrayed is supposed to be about 30 miles, or is it kilometres by 20. We mix and match our meters.
I'm afraid we do.
We must come to a decision on that. Yeah. Must have a convention on that, Rupert. Otherwise, Anyway, I digress slightly. If this is accurate, then the quite rational thing is, well, we can use this map to discover sites that we've not discovered before. But I think the trick is to actually keep that to yourself, go and do the work, and then come back and say, Eureka, we found this because this, I'm so, colour me cynical, but there are, as you quite rightly pointed out, those folk in the world who will go and say, quick, I'll get ahead of the archaeologists on this one, because you never know how I might enrich myself. Especially this Bronze Age, there could be metal stuff.
There could be gold in there. There really could. I think that they are understandably, they're really excited about it. I mean, they have referred to this as possibly the map belonging to a despot prince. That have suggested
maybe getting a bit overexcited.
Well, maybe, but there's not a shred of evidence to support that. However possible it might be, that seems a little bit rash. I mean, the thing is that there are so many possible reasons why, at any point in history, why people would have wanted a map. And, some of the stones that we've mentioned before, absolutely. If you want to know, particularly if you're somewhere that's still fairly forested, if you need to know which direction to go from here to whatever over there, that a map in stone is going to be a very useful thing to have.
And they're also working on the hypothesis that a central bit of this of the map, a circular motif, actually represents the centre, where this prince may or may not have lived. And they're sort of working from that. And I say, we say, good luck to them, because that would be a wonderful thing, because everybody loves a treasure map.
It would be fantastic.
The trouble is,
I think one of the things that is most impressive about this, I have to say, is that you can take any piece of abstract rock art, and when I say abstract, I really mean out of context, and to be able to apply that to the landscape and say, yes, it's a map, because they have, as I mentioned earlier, that they've managed to pinpoint 80% accuracy of the things on the map, which in itself is staggering. Yeah. But the point is that when you've got
so confidence is high.
But the point is that when you've got an out of context piece of carved stone, that you've got no frame of reference for scale. You know, you could have been looking at something thinking that it was, say, if you wanted to think it was a map, that maybe it was 300 metres square, say, something like that. To have been able to apply it accurately to something that is kilometres in size, 30 by 21
kilometres.
You know, that in itself, you know, that must have been a fair bit of research to have actually found exactly how it would apply to the landscape. And it is very compelling when you see the map, the actual map, you know, from aerial photography or satellite imagery, and the stone, and how they actually compare. It's a pretty impressive piece of carving from that point of view.
Yeah, yeah. But did you pick up on this, Rupert, that they both, Paye and Nicolas, said they would need to survey the entire territory and cross-reference the markings on the slab? A job, he said, could take 15 years. Mate, if you call it a treasure map, there's going to be nothing.
I hesitate to say this, but you really need to get AI on the job, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, here's the thing. It's already the oldest map in Europe, isn't it? Ever? Anywhere?
Yeah.
Seriously, because we're talking Bronze Age, what is it, 1500 BC? It's dated to around thereunthereabouts.
That's
enough, isn't it? The oldest map in the world.
Of the burial as well. You know, so we don't actually know how, you know, was it contemporary with the burial? Was it made to go into the burial?
Well, isn't that such? Because we're in the part of the world, we're in a part of the world only just up the road from Morbihan and Karnak and all that kind of thing, and all those grand tombs, which often use slabs and or pre-decorated slabs, shall we say, pre-decorated slabs as capstones and supporting pillars. So you wonder, did they pick this one up, ready-made from the Neolithic, perhaps? That we'll probably never know. We can only conjecture.
Well, it depends if they do find sites.
Fun to do so.
You know, if it does work out that there are burials on the map, and they go and dig them up and they find that they're not Bronze Age at all, that they're Neolithic, then that would give you an idea that was a reused stone. So, yeah.
Boom! There you go. Well, talking of fun, that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more for us to say without repeating ourselves
we'll
about that one.
As soon as, within the next 15 years, if Eve and the guys actually dig anything up. Yeah.
Cross fingers. Thanks for watching, folks. See you again soon. Bye-bye for now.